You'll love it.
I can't wait.
Okay.
26 years of these
Okay, good morning. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Before we get started, let me just kind of roll through a summary on our role as a board and also the order of the meeting. We're the 2024 Board of Equalization and Review for Union County. We have been appointed by the county commissioners to hear any and all taxpayers with respect to concerns, complaints regarding the valuation of their property for tax purposes. Property owners appearing before the Board of Equalization and Review have the right to a fair and equitable hearing. The Board of Equalization and Review has been charged with ensuring that the proper legal principles have been applied in a valuation dispute for tax purposes. So the order and the format of the meeting, the clerk will call the case and then we'll locate the property. You'll see it on the monitors there and we'll have it on ours. And then we'll just let you present your information. After you present your information, the tax office will present theirs, and we just ask when you present your information and the county, please refrain from asking the county questions. If you have a question, please direct that question to me, and the county will do the same. And at the end, after you present your information, after the county presents theirs, the taxpayer will have a period where they can clarify or rebuke, any information. The board will rule on the case or table it and inform the taxpayer within 30 days, and the taxpayer will be notified in writing of the board's decision. By statute, the burden of proof is on the taxpayer to demonstrate that the assessment is erroneous. So before we get started, if you could silence your cell phones, and are there any questions? If not, Madam Clerk.
Hearing number 1, parcel number 02-223-013A, Myra B. Bolt.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing good.
I know that you guys probably have a copy, but I'm going to go ahead and just read word for word and speak afterwards, because this is a really emotional time for me. And by just reading it, I know that I haven't forgotten something, okay? Okay. I am meeting with you this morning. First thing, can you guys hear me good?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. I am meeting with you this morning to appeal my property tax increase. My name is Myra Bolt, and I am a widow. My husband passed away not long ago due to cancer. My daughter is 33 years old, and she has multiple sclerosis. She is married, but her husband also has Crohn's disease. They are both on medication due to high cost on some of their medication. Sometimes they have to pay it weekly. Because of this cost, it's just too high to pay for a month's supply. When they do miss work from illness, I have to cover the weekly cost of the meds. My daughter also has lost 2 children recently back to back, and this has caused her to be diagnosed with PTSD, depression, and some other disorders. She has to see a psychiatrist for this. She does work part-time, and her company works with her for time off. The same for my son-in-law. He is in landscaping. Neither one of them would be able to handle a full-time schedule around the clock due to the missing of work. This very past week, my daughter, again, she was diagnosed with early ages of Parkinson's disease. She has been having tremors, voice quivering a lot on talks. She finally went to her neurological doctor and found out this was not coming from the multiple sclerosis, but instead the Parkinson's disease. This comes from her father's side of the family. My company that I work for has maxed me out to what they can pay me because I am drawing Social Security. I have no room for pay increase. This has made my income really hard on me. Due to my husband's passing, I have had to start all over again on my own with trying to help my daughter out alone. I lost my home 15 years ago due to many medical bills. At one time, I was working 3 different jobs just to hold everything together. I also was renting, but due to the fast rising cost of renting, I really had to try to buy again. I lost bid after bid. When I came across this home on Camden, I knew it was not worth what I paid for it, but I felt I had no choice. I had no choice to bid everything. I just bid everything I had to do it. I got the home. I was very proud of myself and thought I'd finally made it to where I could just kind of like live my days out. Now here I go again with property tax increases causing my mortgage payments to go up now. Groceries, utilities, gasoline, medical bills, even for me personally. I am terrified that I could stand a chance of losing another home. I'm not going anywhere. This is where I want to stay out my life. I am fighting for my daughter to have a place to live on as I pass. I have also looked at comparisons on my property to other homes in Wingate. I know that I have overpaid for my home. It is a manufactured mobile home and 25 years old. The AC is original and it can go out anytime. There is so much work that needs to be done inside the home. The water heater went out and I had to replace the flooring, and this was only 2 weeks after I bought the home. The people there that were supposed to fix it, they did a horrible job. The flooring is coming up in different parts of the home. I am thinking about trying to sue them for incomplete work. They said it would take 2 to 3 weeks of work, and it ended up taking them from May to October. And they stopped and never showed up again, leaving me with a lot of things still to repair for the flooring. I had a guy come out recently to take a look at my flooring. He said that the people who worked on the floor did not complete underneath all the way down to the subflooring, which is what they were getting paid for. I have tried to reach him several times. He keeps putting me off to get a quote. I told him I had a deadline, and he has stopped returning my calls. I wanted to bring those quotes to you guys. I am trying the best that I know how. My mortgage is already $11.79 a month and will go up again due to the property tax increases again. I am so scared of what could happen, losing my home once again. When I took out this mortgage, I never knew that my monthly mortgage payments could fluctuate because of all the economy changes. I am asking to please reconsider my property tax increase. If nothing comes out of this, at least I know that I've tried my best. Thank you.
Yeah, you did a good job getting all through that.
It's hard.
I know. Okay. If you could stay there just a second, let me see if any members of the board has any questions, for you, okay?
Okay.
Jimmy, you have any questions? Mark?
No, sir.
Okay. Bob? Okay. I got a question for the county, but otherwise we're good, so you can have a seat if you'd like. And, well, I'll tell you what, stay there. And
Okay.
We'll hear from the county. Well, you'll need to have a seat, excuse me, so she can have the podium.
Me have a seat?
Yeah, if you could have a
Okay,
seat, so
thank
she can have the podium there. Sorry about that.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a 1999 double-wide mobile home on Camden Road. When I went out and inspected or just looked at the property, there's not visual signs. It seems to be things that she tried to get quotes for. So she is attempting to do that, but she did not have luck with that. The contractors are just backed up right now. There's not a lot I can say about this other than the sales photos. That's what it looked like when I was out there. But she's working on getting those quotes for condition, if there's
Okay.
problems with the subfloors.
Let's see if members of the board has questions. Mark?
What's the condition or grade on this house?
We, from the sales review from 2022, which you have the photos of that, it was raised from average to excellent condition.
It was raised?
It was.
From looking at it from the outside, is that how you did that, or did you go inside?
The sales photos, I did go inside when I met with the taxpayer, but the sales photos it does look like the sales photos from visual inspection.
And the home's what, 1999?
It is, it does have the original HVAC.
Okay.
It does, yes.
I don't have any more questions.
Okay. Bob? Okay. Jim?
Did you say that she was trying to get some things done?
She's actually attempting to get quotes from contractors. There appears to be some concerns of the taxpayer for maybe structural issues, some things that were not done that I can't see those things, and I cannot provide that information. But she has made attempts, and she did have a contractor come out. I believe she can probably speak more to that. But she has not received the quotes that he promised to provide her, is my understanding.
And to your knowledge, this was all, Ms. Boat was doing all of this prior to the raising, so she was already working on this prior to the fact that there was an increase?
I believe that she can speak more to that, but it sounds like to me that right after she moved in, she started experiencing issues with the home that she had to try to find the funds to correct right after moving in.
Right.
So that was not done just specifically for, I mean, I think these issues arose as soon as she purchased the home, is what it sounds like. She can speak more to that.
Well, I know she can, but I was asking you specifically, from the county side, just to assess from your perspective that this wasn't being done after the fact as a plea, but this was clearly something that was being worked on prior to the increase.
The only way I have that knowledge is through the taxpayer, because I was not part of that process. I would not know that she made those corrections to her house.
Okay, I'll ask her.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
I reckon the only thing I wanted to question, maybe piggyback off what Mr. Ashcraft was asking, I mean, with what you're mentioning about the condition of the property, it's still excellent grade?
From the visual inspection, yes.
Okay.
So I can't pull up the flooring and see if there's structural issues and things like that that would indicate further problems underneath the house, possibly, or those type things. I am not
Right.
able
Okay, I got
to
you.
provide that
Okay, I
information.
just wanted to clarify that point.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Ms. Bolt, with what you've heard, do you have any further questions at this time?
Is there something else that I can say real quick?
You can, just,
Okay. Okay, 2 weeks after I moved into the home, the water heater went. It was the original water heater, okay? It damaged the floors and everything. We had to get the insurance company, and all that. Contractor come out, fix the floors and everything. And where it was supposed to take 2 or 3 weeks, it ended up taking like 6 months. When you walk across the floor, it is, and we didn't sense any of this until after we moved in, when we actually started walking the floors and stuff. There are parts through the home where you can feel like there's a bubble. And that's where the floors are, the new flooring that was put in is coming apart,
right,
okay?
like buckled.
Buckled, right. That's why I got this guy to come out to take a look at it. I'm worried now that, and like certain parts where it's kind of buckling, when you walk, you can hear it squeaking. And me, the home that I owned in the past, it was like, concrete floor, whatever,
Slab.
underneath. I've never had what they say it's a floating floor. And, but some people, when they're coming in, they're like, Myra, you've got structural damage. That what's happening is, I guess, I don't understand a lot of it, but in certain spots of the house, you can feel the bubbles, and the floor is cracking. Okay, I mean, I've actually got a piece that's actually come out right now that I've got like a big throw carpet covering it up. And actually, I've got a piece of paper where I wrote down a lot of things of stuff, okay, when we bought the home, these are things we didn't know about. The windows are very, very heavy. They look like really nice windows, but they're very heavy. We could not get the windows up, which was a safety hazard. I was upset about that. I called the realtor and complained. Now, like when the windows are so heavy, like when I finally get the window up, I actually have PVC pipe that I put inside the window to hold the windows up, okay? That's how heavy they are. The molding is literally, it's coming off. You can see cracks of it, My
I
son-in-law,
think we got a good sense now, you know, okay?
yeah, there's just a lot
Yeah,
of
we
stuff
got a good
happening, but
yeah.
I didn't know all this when I bought this,
Right.
till I bought the home.
Yeah, and I think some of the questions we asked and what you summarized, we've got a good picture of
Okay.
what you're dealing with, okay?
Okay.
And,
Am I done?
yes, yeah,
Can I go sit down?
you can.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
and then, just so you'll know, after we hear all the cases today, we'll go into the deliberation phase of the meeting, and that's when we'll render our decision, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, next.
Hearing number 2, parcel ID number 0823401A, Julie P. Brooks, which are not present.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Parcel ID number 0823401A. Julie B. Brooks, and there's no show.
Okay, so that's a no-show, okay.
But
We do need.
Mr. Chairman, I think
Oh,
the staff still has some information they'd like
Oh,
to share.
okay,
with Ms. Brown.
okay.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Latasha Wiggins. I'm representing the county this morning. This is a property that's located off of Highway 601, Indian Trail, Unionville Road, in Unionville Indian Trail Road. The property was built in 2005, consisting of 8793 square feet, and the property is located on 8 acres of land. We made several attempts to clarify the problem. She had extensive damage to the home. She said it was due to a storm back in 2015. She had some roof damage, and she never got it repaired. I did have some pictures she did submit. I don't know if I can give them this. It was a lot. We didn't really make copies of it.
Mr. Chairman, it's to your discretion whether you want to review the taxpayer's information. She didn't indicate that she wanted us to present it. It's your discretion.
That's the pleasure of the board.
I'd say she's right. As far as I'm concerned, we usually handle no-shows, and
She's not here, yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
that's how we normally do
Yeah.
it. So that's not,
I mean,
we can sit here and
we
look.
do have a new value on it.
Yep, I saw that,
Yeah.
1.5 or something.
Yeah.
We have attempted to work with the taxpayer. We had every indication that she was going to show up today. I think if I may, Brad said that we are waiting for an appraisal to indicate the cost to cure, but Brad can speak a little bit more to that, but I think he's already taken that into consideration.
Yes,
We did a comparable sales report, and we took the cost to cure to about $200,000, and that gave us a new value of,
Is that the 1,557,000 that we see?
that's
Is-
really the only reason we wanted to speak, Mr. Chairman, and it's to let you know that there is a new value. That 1.5 has been lowered to 1.3, and Latasha can give you the exact number.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
okay.
really, we just
Oh,
wanted to let
okay.
y'all know there is a
So
new
it's gone
value.
down more, all right.
That we've taken a second look at this property, lowered the condition of it due to all the deferred maintenance, and wanted y'all to know the new value, know what you're voting on.
So what's the value now?
it's 1.345800.
Okay. So, and that's already been taken care of. That is the value. You don't need our decision on that value.
Well, that's the
This is
county.
Staff rec, okay,
Staff.
okay, okay.
Well, no, Mr. Chairman, it's not a staff recommendation.
That's what I was trying to get you.
Because a staff recommendation would have been agreed upon by the
Yeah.
taxpayer.
Okay,
Okay, so normally in a staff recommendation, the county agrees to it, the taxpayer agrees to it, we just need the board to agree to it.
okay, so we need to approve the value of the,
Yes, sir.
yeah, okay. Any further information
No,
from
that'll
the
be.
county? Okay. Thanks for the clarification on that from you and Brad.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, did the board have any other questions, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, one question just for knowledge, say, consider this a newbie question. When we're talking about approving, we're talking about approving this to present to the taxpayer, or we're talking about approving after the county and the taxpayer get together, and if there's an agreement, then we're looking at, do we approve or not approve? That's,
No, sir.
okay.
No, sir.
I just want to know the phases.
Because the taxpayer was expected to be here today, and the taxpayer did not show up. But the county is comfortable that we've taken in to consideration all of the taxpayers' information that has been presented thus far. We're comfortable in presenting this number to the board. We can't change the value unless the board accepts our value. So once you accept our value, even though the taxpayer hasn't accepted it, we can take your decision, send a decision letter to the taxpayer. They can either accept it or appeal it to the PTC, just like any other board decision.
You just explained exactly what I wanted to make sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you did it great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I have
Okay.
a couple of questions. Did y'all go out to this property
We did.
and you went inside? And you saw all this damage or whatever, 4 pages of it?
I didn't go inside, I just observed the outside. There was a lot of, I mean, she submitted the pictures, so I knew what the inside looked like.
Okay, because you got the pictures from the,
I got the pic from the homeowner.
all right, and then y'all made a decision after the fact that an appraiser was gonna do it, right, correct? They were gonna do a new appraisal on the house or something, but you didn't get it, but you based that on lowering it from 1.5 to 1.3 with all this other information.
Yeah, yes.
Is that how it works?
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
The lady, the homeowner, has submitted,
Lots of
there's
pictures.
probably 50 to 75 images of the home, so there's really no need for us to go in. We have plenty of data from the
Okay.
interior of the home. We had lowered the value based on lowered condition of the home after seeing all these photos.
Yep.
And again, Latasha had visited the outside of the property. But once we saw all the photos and the condition of the interior, sheetrock damaged, the home, you just have to see the photos. It's not the greatest condition. So we
Okay.
lowered the condition of the home and got to 1.3. And the lady's also trying to get an appraisal done at the same time, which we have not received.
And does she know that you lowered it to 1.3?
She does.
Oh, she does?
She's aware of that.
And she was still coming to appeal?
Well, she was supposed to.
She was supposed to,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay.
All right.
Bob? Okay. With that, thank you, Natasha.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Hearing number 3, parcel ID number 06042285, Twin Lakes Farm LLC.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
on this one, we've got a procedural matter that you need to do. This parcel was heard at the previous meeting.
Well, I was looking at the pictures, like I said, that looks familiar. They have
It was
a
heard at the previous
parcel that
meeting,
looks
so-
identical to it.
The,
Is it on her screen? It's the location?
no, Brad, you want to pull that also?
I just
Yeah.
we had to move on.
It's this right here.
I've got maps of it on the file of the property. It's Twin Lakes subdivision.
Yep.
And the issue with this was there was 3 parcels that they appealed that you adjudicated at the last meeting.
Yes.
We were contacted a few days later, said the representative that was supposed to be here forgot the meeting. We looked at the parcels, I sent them some information. This one parcel, I told them I would bring back to you. But I need you to rescind your vote before Brian discusses the ramifications of potentially change. Property's appraised as it should be,
Okay,
is staying across the county. But we wanted to bring everything back because I told the taxpayer we would on this one parcel. Everything else is fine.
but there were three.
There were three.
Okay.
There were three. This is the only one we're bringing back.
Okay.
Okay. So we need to rescind,
Just for that one parcel?
The other, if I may, the other two were actually lots.
Right.
This is the lake. This
Okay.
one's a little different than the other two.
yeah, because if I remember right, the other two technically could be built on. I mean, if they would have to,
The other two were actually listed on the website for sale
right,
online.
yeah.
Which is why we brought this one back. There was, we just need you to take action to rehear this.
So we can
parcel.
rehear,
Yes.
yeah. So the first matter of action is to
Well, Mr. Chairman, are we gonna carve out a parcel from an overall vote that the board made? Just to give some sense of guidance to that piece, because if the overall vote was for all of the package, but we wanna just discuss this particular package, is there not a better mechanism for just discussing this particular patches than rescinding the whole vote from the whole package?
Each parcel stands on its own.
Okay,
So, yeah, we dealt with them individually.
individually,
Yeah.
okay.
We dealt with them with a no-show. Is that not correct?
Right.
Okay, so let's, because that's what we did, so.
It's the board's pleasure if you
We
want to
never
hear
really
anything-
discussed
if you want
the
to hear
issue
anything
in
on this.
detail.
It's the board's pleasure of whether or not you want to hear anything on this or not.
Mr. Chairman, if I can interject.
Right.
Why don't we hear the information?
Well, that's my,
Because
yeah,
it's clarifying information that we didn't present,
right,
because we kind of bundled them together.
yeah.
And this is COS property, where the other two are actually buildable lots.
Right.
And we just wanted to, in transparency to the board,
Mm.
pull this one out and differentiate it from the other two buildable lots, and explain the valuation methodology on this common area parcel.
Right.
Then if the board feels like the valuation doesn't, reflect what the board feels it should, then we can rescind the vote on this one and do what the board would like to do. I think that accomplishes what the tax administrator would like to do. I think this is, in transparency, we kind of bundled them together and possibly misrepresented this one.
That's fine.
We're correct, and I'm all for it. If we've got something there that's not correct, let's take the
Yeah. So we
position,
just-
at least hear the information to make sure we got it right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
so-
because I didn't know anything about a lake,
Yeah, and-
because we
and-
never discussed it.
Yeah.
And Van and I didn't realize it either. So
Okay.
we just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that everybody was on the same page
Okay.
with this particular parcel.
So with that, before we have any further discussion, our first order here of business is to go ahead and rescind our,
No, let's
No, I
just.
thought she said we can hear first, then
Oh,
we can
okay,
and-
okay.
decide.
Okay, I
If
thought-
if you're fine with the
Okay.
valuation, it stands. If you're not fine with the valuation, then we'll
okay.
proceed.
I kept thinking we would have to rescind here and then redo it. Okay.
If that's acceptable to the board. I mean,
That's,
it's
as
just
long
a
as we got it,
simple-
as long as we got it right.
That's acceptable
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Let's go.
Okay,
to me, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
all right. Good morning, and this is Twin Lakes subdivision. This is in the Weddington community. If you're not sure, some of you may be familiar with it, but it's on Hemby Road in Antioch area. You can see the map there, on Beulah Church Road in Waxhaw Indian Trail. There's a larger extent, if you know where the community is. If there's no questions on the location, I'll continue. So, as Robin and Van have spoken, there may have been, we will make sure there was no miscommunication on whether this was a buildable lot or not that you were voting on. This is actually the lake. It is already platted and legally coded as a common open space on the map, and it is valued as such. It's valued equitably with the process that we value all other COSs in the county in subdivisions. It's valued at the unbuildable rate for that community, and that's what's been applied, and it's $8,700 per acre at 13.743 acres. So just some context, that would be if there was a berm, if there was some cutout other COS area within the community that has not been put into the HOA yet, it'd be valued at the same rate. So we are consistent with what we're doing with this piece of property as any other property that would be coded and identified legally as a COS in that community, and it is consistent throughout the county. This lake, it is being built around, and it's the focal point of the community. So that's really all I have. I'll
Okay.
open for questions.
Yeah, see if any of the members of the board have questions. Jimmy?
I'll add one thing just for clarity, just
Okay.
for knowledge sake, for
Thank you.
everybody. Once this goes into the homeowners association, it'll be exempt.
Yeah.
Okay.
The value is attributed to the resident, but until that, it's still taxable. A developer, a builder is not a tax exempt organization.
Right.
So by statute. So just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of that eventually it will become exempt, but they get exempt, they've got to turn it over to the HOA.
Right.
Well, if they hadn't turned it over, then why are we looking at it?
I
For
think
clarification purposes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why.
Okay.
One thing to clarify. You're going to see that the value is 283. I want to clarify that 119.6 is the value on the land. There is a structure. There's a bridge and a pavilion, if you will, out in the middle of the lake, and that's the value of the 88.7 to get the 2083. But the land, just so you're not wondering, trying to do the math, but the land is at 87,000 per, or 8,700 per acre, excuse me.
Okay. Any questions, Mark?
I'm just kind of confused. If it's not in a homeowners association, has this been done elsewhere?
That
When
we
they start
brought
building-
it back up because the original presentation indicated that these were all buildable lots.
Okay.
Okay, so we want to make sure the board was not under that impression and that we had all the information correct for
Right.
your purposes.
Right.
So that's why we brought this back up.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Mark, the county's not advocating for a lower value or anything, or to make a change on the property. We're just letting you know, just to clarify all the facts.
Okay.
The property owner was asking for a lower value on it
Right.
in his original appeal.
Good.
So, yeah.
Bob, you have any questions for the county? I don't have any, and so with that, we're good unless we,
You don't need to
we
take
don't need
further
to do
action.
anything. Okay, good, okay. Thank you, Brad.
You're welcome.
All right. So our next, if I understand right.
We asked Joe to present their information for
Okay.
them.
We've got them all together in our book.
Yeah, yeah, but for ease of decision letters, we've separated the property. because
Okay.
there's different
So the
reasons.
taxpayer's not here, so
No,
Joe's
but
going
it's not a no-show.
Okay. Okay. Joe, you're the next man up.
All right.
Okay.
This is Elwood, it's called Elwood Apartments now. It was originally built as the hub when it was being developed. It's at Chestnut Parkway and Highway 74 or East Independence Boulevard. This property was built on a contaminated site, and it receives a brownfield exemption. When we worked up the notification, the exemption was added to the value of the property instead of reducing it from the value. So it was an incorrect value that we sent the notice out. So that's why you're going to see such a drastic drop in value. It was an incorrect notice that they got. The true value of it, based on our information that we use, is $46,149,200.
Excuse me. This is hearing number 4, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
Chestnut Park acquisition.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and the original value was 68 million.
It was, that's what they got the notice on, but it was incorrect. It should not have gone out at that amount. It added their exemption, which is like 22 million, added it to the 46 instead of being a reduction.
Okay, but the taxpayers' opinion of value of that property is 50.
It's 50. They thought, they didn't realize it was an error. They just thought that it was 50 based on what they were asking, what they would consider. But what we did is we restored it back to where it should have been. And that's why we're at the 46, because that's what it would have gone out if it was correct.
And based on the reason of lowering the value to this, is what you said earlier.
Yes,
So about the brownfield
Yep.
piece.
yes,
And y'all knew about it before when you approached it the first time?
sure, sure.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if Joe will allow me to speak to the exemption. This property was sold, and with an exemption, a brownfield exemption, the new owner has to make application. The new owner has not made application for the brownfield. So although the property does still qualify for the brownfield exemption, we've sent, let's see, I want to say at least 2, if not 3 applications to the new owner, and they have not completed them and sent them back to us.
Because,
So-
yeah, each time it changes hands, they have to
They have
apply
to apply
to
for it.
maintain the brownfield exemption. Yeah.
Now, I'm not, believe it or not, I'm not the expert on brownfields, but if I remember correctly, with a brownfield exemption, it is only on the improvements. It's not on the land, even though it's the land that's contaminated. And the first year, the improvement is at
90%.
90%. So what happened in this case is that most of the buildings were complete the first year, so they received that 90%, but there was a building that was completed the second year, and that's what kind of messed up our exemption, and that Joe went in, completed that last building at 100%, and it took off the exemption, but it left the value there, and it's a glitch in our system that it adds it then into the total value, which increased it.
Instead
And
of,
that's the change of assessment notice that went out.
Mhm.
So the property owner appealed, and then we realized what happened. So then when we took that exemption out, of course, it lowered the property. And then the building was finished, so it came out just a little bit higher, but the exemption would have been 90%. So now we're into the second year, so it's only 70% of the original building, and then 90% of the completed building. So it would still be higher.
right, okay. Thanks for that clarification. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
as clear as
Yeah.
a brownfield,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
tell you what, you know, the brownfield exemptions are impossible.
Yeah,
The new value is basically what we would value it at, true market value using the cost
Right.
approach. So we're just restoring it back to where it should be without any kind of exemptions or anything. Because they haven't applied for the new exemption that they would get.
make sure we don't
And-
have, yeah, go ahead.
The tax rep is aware that the exemption is not applied on this property, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a late application come before the end of the year,
Right, okay.
just FYI.
Now, is that still on this thing that, I'm confused. So the new value of 46 It's based on all what she said, and you had to change it, you came back and forth and all that, is that correct?
Right, this is what, if there were no exemptions or anything, if we just plug in all the particulars about this property. and this-
Without the exemption?
Without exemption, it'd be 46,149,200 based on the cost approach.
On the cost approach.
Mm-hmm.
So if they go and really do get the exemption,
It will be less,
it'll be less.
yes.
And they said their opinion of value was $50 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Any additional questions, Bob? Do you?
No, I do not have any
Okay.
questions.
Sounds like Mark maybe clarified it.
He's on to,
No, Mr. Chairman.
Jimmy? Okay. All righty. We'll, if everybody's good on that one, we'll move to the next one.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
if I can, Joe can correct me if I'm wrong. That opinion of value of 50 million is based on their recent acquisition. We're going back to 21 to value this, because that is a reappraisal.
So-
That's a good point.
That's
So
right.
they bought it.
Yeah, they
That's what you're
recently
saying.
bought it.
Yes,
And they didn't do what she said, the
Right.
exemption stuff.
And so based on their acquisition,
Yeah.
based on their acquisition price, I believe October of last year,
mm-hmm.
even though they paid much more, they're
Yeah.
saying it's worth 50 million.
Right, because they,
But we have to go back to 2021.
good point.
I
Yeah.
want to make sure,
I
I can see your mind
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah.
That
I
makes
want to make
sense.
sure you were,
I really agree
So,
with that.
okay, okay.
Very good.
All right, let me ask again. Any further questions?
Sorry.
No, that clarification ended the question.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thanks, man. All right. We'll move to the next one.
All right, the next one is multiple parcels, about 8, I believe. And it's Boring Clay was the prior brick plant that has been demolished. And there are numerous parcels. This is just one of the largest ones. It runs from Old Charlotte Highway through Hayes Road and out onto highways, out 274. And it backs up to where Martin Marietta Quarry is. This is another one that's a little bit different. Their values that they were wanting reduction was because they had a plat done in 2023, but they never recorded it. That plat shows less acreage than we have. And because they have not recorded it, we can only go off, it's not a legal instrument, we can't make a change based on just a plat. It has to be properly done. So we did not make a change, and they recognize that as well, that they will have to get it recorded to make any kind of change to the acreage. And it would still have to, the plat would still have to be reviewed, and still, because there's right-of-way on it and how it's treated and everything. So basically, they understand, so we're going to maintain our values that we had originally. So there'll be no change to any of the 8 parcels from our original value.
Until they get it plotted, or
Mhm.
whatever, they get it recorded.
And again, they're aware of that.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. No questions? We'll move on to the next one if there is some. Does that take care of yours, Joe, or we got,
Yeah.
We
I've got
got
one
it.
more.
yeah, on tab 6, okay?
Tab 6.
Or hearing 6,
Okay, I got the,
LV Farm LLC.
LV Farm is Longview Golf Course.
got all that.
They submitted information. Apparently, this property, they say, transferred ownership. We don't have any record of that from a deed standpoint, but apparently they are associated with a new company now that their appeal was based on an acquisition in 2021, which is after our appraisal date of January 1, 21. This was later in fall of 2021. They had a valuation done that had intangible assets that they had valued, and they were asking for a reduction of what the intangible assets were worth, the going concern, what the company was worth. And so for two reasons, we denied it and want to maintain our value because, one, it's outside our boundaries of what we can look at, and two, we don't really deal with intangible value. It's not part of our valuation process.
Okay. Questions of the county and the board?
And this is hearing number 6, correct?
Yes.
So the original value was 10,959,000, is that correct? And we're not doing anything to it?
Not doing anything to it. The value remains the same.
Okay.
Jimmy, any questions?
No, at this time.
Okay. Bob?
No, none at this time.
Okay. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Hearing number 7, account ID number 646495, Ms. Thelma Stevens Oliver. And Lamika is going to speak.
Good morning, board members,
Good morning.
Morning.
chairperson.
Morning.
I am Lamika Harrison, a personal property supervisor. And for hearing number 7, Thelma Oliver submitted an appeal for her mobile home value. Her manufactured home was valued according to the Union County Schedule of Values adopted in 2021. Replacement cost new for her property would be $35,303.52. Ms. Oliver did experience a water leak. There were damages due to either unsealed or improperly sealed windows and doors and around the vents on the roof. She has since had repairs done to prevent water from coming into the home, but there is still residual damage that she cannot afford to replace, but it is curable. So it's likely due to deferred maintenance on the mobile home. Currently, under the schedule of values, we have her valued with 23% depreciation, down to $27,184 with a fair condition. If we were to change the condition to poor, it would come down to $26,125. That's 26% depreciation. If we were to bring it down to
Can
the,
you say that number again for me again?
for the poor condition,
Yeah.
$26,125.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. The very poor condition, which is the lowest, would bring it down to 32% depreciation at $24,006.
Okay.
Okay. She has applied for the Elderly Exclusion Property Tax Relief Program. She does qualify. I am not certain whether or not it has been granted yet.
Okay. Will that factor into the value of the home?
It would factor into what she's taxed at.
Okay.
Yes.
But you have to, the market value has to be established because she gets 50% off that value.
Okay, that's
If she
what, okay,
qualifies.
so it doesn't have anything to do with this?
It doesn't have anything to do
Value
with
of the
this per se,
property, yeah.
correct.
Do you know when she applied?
Pardon?
Do you know when she applied?
She just got the application
Okay,
in,
so
I
it's
think
gonna
on
be a late
June
application
5th.
that comes to you later this year.
No, she applied on time.
She applied, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Her income just came in, right?
yeah, she applied on time. We've accepted the application. We got her income. She's in the program. Yeah.
So
Okay.
we still have to establish a market value.
Okay, we're still doing that, okay.
And how old's the mobile home?
It's a 2011 Clayton mobile home. And under the schedule of values, we have it at 10 years, going back to the 2021
21.
schedule of
Right.
values.
Okay. Okay. And, okay. I don't have any other questions. Jimmy?
No, Mr. Chairman, not at this time.
Mark?
Okay, so you said, I read this thing too, so Did you go by and look at it, or did she send you pictures that you know?
We
all
do
these
have
properties?
pictures. One of the appraisers did go out and
Okay.
take pictures, so there are some pictures here. Would you like to see them?
Sure.
Yeah.
You got it?
But that's what I'm saying, you're basing it, the value you're gonna try to lower it to, right?
No, we did not recommend to lower the value whatsoever. I was just providing you with the information, correct?
What she said, or, yeah.
Yeah, she believes the value should be at 15,000.
Yeah.
I personally do not agree with that.
Right. Okay,
There's a bunch of pictures here.
yeah.
Then I'll get them back to Bob.
Didn't know-
Bob, you have any questions for the county? I think Jimmy and Mark are good.
I'm good.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you. I think maybe for clarification to Jimmy and Bob, it always gets a little confusing, I think, with mobile homes. I mean, this is treated, I'm assuming, as personal property since she does not own the dirt, the real estate.
That's correct.
Okay, so that's why it's,
Hearing number 8, account ID number 406978, Keith Ostrom from Ostrom Tree Service.
The taxpayer is present. This is Mr. Keith Ostrom.
okay. Lamika, you've been busy today, hadn't you?
A little bit.
Okay.
Good
How
morning.
you doing, Keith?
I'm fine, how are
All right.
you?
Real good.
Excuse me,
Okay.
allergies. The reason I'm here is, we had an audit last year for personal property, my business,
Yeah.
and personal property. And that was kind of a shock to me, going through that, but I also learned a lot of stuff. The guys, Jonathan Marshall, at the tax office was very helpful. And we went through several months of going through the listings and the things I had done right and the things I had done wrong. Okay, when it was all said and done, we wrote a check for the tax that we owed because of my mistakes. And there was a $1,532 late charge on that. And we discussed it, and under his recommendation, we wrote a letter to the county to see if we could get that late charge removed. Because none of it was done out of malice. It was just ignorance, I guess you could say, for some equipment that I had that I didn't realize was not listed as my personal property. We squared it away, we got it done, and that's why I'm here, just trying to waive the late fee.
Okay. I understand. Let me see if members of the board have a question. Jimmy?
So you're just seeking to have that returned?
Not returned. He requested, the day we had our meeting here at the courthouse, we wrote a check for the property tax that I owed. He told me to leave off the $1,500
Okay,
late
so you
fee
never paid
and then
it.
request that we could get it removed.
I got you.
That's all.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mark? Okay. Bob? Question? Okay. With that, thank you, Keith. Appreciate it.
Thank
We'll
you.
Hear from the county side of it.
Sure.
Okay.
Mr. Ostrom had failed to list for prior years, so he wasn't aware that he was supposed to actually list his personal property for his business. He had been forced assessed all along. However, he has never been late in paying his property taxes. He has always paid his property taxes on time, and even after the audit, he made sure he paid in full, minus the late listing penalty. So he's requesting a one-time waiver of the late listing penalty going forward.
I think the key to some of this is he does this himself. He doesn't have a professional CPA or anything do this.
There was no listing provided. If he had a CPA, they never provided an actual listing. They never returned a listing to the county.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Questions for the county, Bob? Do you have any questions for?
What is forced assessed?
Forced assessed is when we aren't aware of exactly what property you have. So we have to make an assumption of property. If you do not refute that by sending us in the actual detailed listing, then we move forward with that. We force assess each year if the taxpayer does not provide us with a listing. We have to move forward and tax them.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Any other
Mark?
questions?
No, sir.
Jimmy?
I want to get back to that, you said failed to list, and then you went to, he didn't know. So would we want to use the verbiage of failed to list or unaware?
Well, we do send out our listing forms each year. I did not review to see if any of them were returned, but essentially it's the same if the taxpayer did not list. However, the taxpayer did receive the tax bills and make payment each year.
Okay. All right, because that's, it seemed like he, the second he knew, he squared up. And that's the only reason I was just looking, because
Sure.
words are everything, and how we say things is everything. So did not list, I can see that now. Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Hearing number 9, account ID number 278543, Mr. Phil Stutz from Lifespan Services. Yes.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm here on behalf of Lifespan Services. Our exemption application was not timely, so therefore it was denied. And I just want to just kind of discuss that with you guys and see what's needed on our behalf. I'm new to Lifespan Services. I've been there for about 6 or 7 weeks now, and so I'm here just representing the company. And the company Lifespan Services is a company that helps underprivileged folks with autism, folks with disadvantages, behavioral issues, and so on and so forth. Lifespan Services has been doing business in Union County since 2017. They're a 501c3 status company, so they're tax exempt. The exemption was filed on January 24th of 2024. I have been working with Mr. Travis Mascuza and also Mrs. Belma Blanco here when we received the letter of denial. Union County stated that the exemption was not received until February 29th of 2024, but the notice of denial was dated April 18th. And so immediately I contacted Mr. Mascuza, Travis, and he and I have just been working together, and I've been getting him everything, such as the articles of incorporation, our tax exempt status from the IRS, and our articles of incorporation, tax exemption, and a letter of explanation, and that letter was given to you all as well. I personally wrote the letter. It was just due to just a lack of employment. There's a lot of folks, a lot of positions that needed to be filled there at Lifespan.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm here today to just ask what's needed and what we need to do to move forward.
Okay. Let me first see if the board has questions of you. Bob, do you have questions? Mark, at this point?
I'm sorry, y'all have been here since
2017.
2017?
Yes, sir.
And you've always had the exemption and everything?
Yes, sir.
But you have to apply for it every year?
That's correct, and it's
And
due.
you have to keep applying for it, okay.
Yes, sir. And it's due on the 30th of January of every year. So now that's understood in our office, and we won't let that happen again, at least as long as I'm there.
Okay.
And I also have a copy here of the exemption that was on January 24th. From an outsider looking in, I mean, I know I'm with Lifespan now, but this is all new to me. It looks like it was a clerical error, honestly, because this was on the 24th of January, and Travis said that it's due by the 30th, so it looks like this was put in, and this was before my time. So it looks like it was put in, but it looks like a clerical error.
Do I have any more questions?
Jimmy?
No, Mr. Chairman, not at this time.
Okay. Let us hear from the county, if you would, and then I'll give you a chance to come back if you would like to clarify anything or add to.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. So take a seat.
Just maybe have a seat there just while she presents the information on behalf of the county, okay?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman,
Good morning.
members of the board.
Morning.
Robin Mary, Deputy Tax Administrator. In this case, the exemption is not filed every year. The form that he was referring to is a personal property listing form. The company purchased new equipment. New equipment added to an exempt entity has to be filed as a new exemption form. I think we had one, I want to say at our previous meeting, where the company had purchased new equipment and they hadn't filled out a new exemption form to add that new equipment to their previous exemption. So anytime a company, again, buys new equipment, they have to fill out the exemption form that adds the equipment to their existing equipment, and then we carry forward. Okay, so it's not that the exemption has to be applied for every year, but anytime the company adds new equipment, that equipment has to be added to the exemption. Okay, so that's what
They can file
happened.
that at any time. I mean, they file that ideally when they buy the equipment and to go ahead and amend it.
Well, preferably what we would like is when they file the listing form with the equipment, they also fill out the exemption.
Okay,
Because the listing form and the exemption form are both due by January,
okay,
by the end of January. So going forward, when you have personal property that's owned by an exempt entity, if you add new equipment, then you would fill out the exemption form too. So what happened in this case, he filled out his listing form, they added new equipment, personal property let Travis know, Travis sent out the application, the application came back, it was late, and then Travis, had conversations with him. So we don't have any problem with the late application because of course, that's a nuance that we
Yeah.
understand
Oh, yeah.
taxpayers,
yeah.
Yeah. don't
Yeah.
readily
Hard to keep up with all
understand.
that.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we get that.
Yeah.
So the county has no problem with the late application. Of course, he's been, an exempt entity here in Union County since 2017. Recommendation is that we accept the late application and just roll on.
okay.
Any questions for me?
Any questions? Everybody good? Thank you, Robin.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any further response?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
You guys.
all right, thank you.
Have a great day.
And
Hearing number 10, parcel ID number 09238-083, Donald L. Helms and Etta W. Helms.
okay,
Good morning again.
all right, okay.
So I'm presenting on behalf of the taxpayer. The couple is elderly. They asked that we presented their information. They weren't aware of the elderly exclusion program. As you well know, we try to get the word out to as many organizations as we can. It's my understanding that in this situation, they had a problem in their home, and the city of Monroe went out to help them with the issue. I want to say it was something to do with a water line. But in contact with that city employee, they had mentioned the elderly exclusion program, which is fantastic. I mean, we love to get the word out to everybody. And they were able to get their application out to them quickly. Of course, it was late. We got the letter that you see in your book. I think it was, yesterday, Belma? Or Monday. And I said, oh, great, let's get it to the board. We contacted the taxpayer. We asked if I presented the information. They said, absolutely. So the letter's in front of you. Of course, it's our recommendation. They qualify for the exclusion. We would love to, have you grant it for them so that we can apply it for their taxes this year. So I would request that the board accept their late application.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions? No, sir. Think we're good?
One question.
Yes, sir.
What's the age for them?
70 and 68.
I'm sorry?
The
Age to qualify for the elderly,
If I remember correctly, it's 65. Yes, sir.
65.
65, and you gotta meet certain income thresholds.
Yeah, and the
65.
threshold goes up every year. So where are we now? 38,700?
So 36, 700 maybe.
Yeah, we just got it like last week, so it goes up incrementally every year. And we
Yeah.
publish that on our webpage.
Yeah, I may,
Oh,
look-
you're gonna come talk to us?
I may look 15, but, that's,
He said he's gonna see you in about 5 years.
Okay.
no, like.
He's
like
gonna see you in about 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes, okay. You know, you will have to recuse yourself from that vote if you
Yes,
submit a late
yes,
application.
Yes.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'm confident that,
Yeah, look at him.
There's income limit.
yeah.
Thank you,
But
Robin.
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, does that take,
Back to my other action.
okay.
On hearing number two, Ms. Brooks is in attendance.
Okay,
That would be parcel ID number 082340188A.
okay.
So since we have not done the vote,
Right.
would be the board's pleasure to go ahead and have her present.
We can,
All righty.
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you for taking the time to hear me today.
All right. If you could slide over to the mic on
Yeah,
the.
okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't know what to expect. I was
Yeah.
just told to bring this stuff, so I'm new to all this, so I
Right.
just, if you can just tell me what I need to do or ask your questions. And did they give you a copy yet of the
Well, we knew
appraisal?
Well, I don't think
Yes, I just gave them a
Okay,
picture.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I think we knew there were a lot of pictures.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay,
And we heard most of the information. I mean, if you want to add to it, if you've got additional, the appraisal that she has, Robin, do we have that too?
No, those are just pictures.
Okay.
I just gave, do you have it?
Yeah, we have it.
You do, we
Okay.
do. So we have that.
You
Okay.
have that,
And I think
okay.
I remember him speaking to that.
Okay,
Give me a copy of this.
yeah, that's, yeah, that's
one copy we just received.
yours to keep. Yeah, I just picked that up just a little bit ago.
Okay. Yeah. I was looking at the date. So we can take a look at this. I mean,
Okay.
and I think we've gotten a good summary of it, so we don't need to hear the whole thing all the way through. But if you want to hit
Okay.
the highlights, are there any major points that you would like to address?
I would just like you to consider adjusting the house value to what the appraisal said. In all honesty, it's worth way less than that.
Right,
I mean, I'm like, and this is not something I'm happy about.
yeah,
I can't get into a lot of details as to why the situation's like it is, but it's just very difficult. One thing I did bring, just so you can see, we had 5 heating and air units, 3 hot water heaters. Everything's broken. We have 1 heating and air unit that works, 1 hot water heater that partially works. And I ran by on the way when I went to pick this up, just to show you the numbers don't lie. I called the City of Monroe Gas. Our house is on natural gas. Just show you a couple of the, if you, could you hand them these two? A couple of the gas bills, because nothing works, you can't use anything. So there's just a few samples of what the bills are for the gas bill for a house that size each month. Do you see how low that is?
Oh, yeah.
The numbers don't lie. And I could show you on my phone where I paid the power bill.
Remind us
It's
to
usually
give these-
between 150, you can keep those, $150, $160 a month. So you can't use something that doesn't work, and it's been like that for years.
well, and with the appraisal, I mean, as long as the date, as long as it's dated with an effective date.
It is,
correctly.
if you look at it, I just was trying to quickly look at it when I got here, because I just picked it up, but they said have it appraised from back in 2020, and that's what they did.
Okay,
It's actually been like that before that, and each day that goes by, it's getting worse instead of better.
okay.
So.
That'd be great. That'd be
Okay,
great.
yes, if you could adjust that, and I would have come in here a long time ago, but all the financial stuff's been hidden for me for 30-plus years, so I had to get some discovery and go to court and get what I needed to get this information to find out what's really going on. So I'm in the middle of a big ordeal right now.
Okay.
So I would have done this earlier, but I just now got the information. As soon as I got my hands on it, I immediately picked up the phone. I worked it out with a company that bought out our loan, explained our situation. They've made all the adjustments that they needed to on their end, and then I went to the different ones after that to quickly make the adjustments on all that. I just want it to be what it actually is, and then work it out from there.
You've presented a lot of good information, and we'll take that into consideration during the deliberation phase. Of the
Okay.
hearing, okay?
Okay,
Which will be soon.
Okay, so,
Okay.
yeah, do I need to?
You're welcome to stay. I mean, we're through the agenda, you know,
Uh-huh.
so we will be moving into the deliberation phase now, okay? And making a decision on what we've heard today.
Okay, is there anything else you would want from me to help? I just quickly, we just got estimates and things like that. There's a lot more that I could provide. I just didn't have enough time to do it.
As long as the appraisal's gonna be very good information for us to look at.
Okay.
All right,
All right, thank you.
thank you. Okay. So with that, are we ready to move into the deliberation phase? And we'll go back through these in the order that we heard them, if that's okay with the board.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
So we'll move to, go back to tab 1, and that is Myra Bolt. And a lot of information in this book. I think as far as conversation going, I mean, the main thing I was just kind of hung up on there a little bit was just the grade. I mean, I don't know. I was struggling with the excellent grade,
You would scrap with what, Mr. Chairman?
with the grade being excellent,
Oh, yes.
yeah. With a 25-year-old home, you know.
If I may, I think we had a little confusion in some verbiage. We have it as a, what? Average grade,
Oh,
average
okay.
condition.
Okay.
Average grade as in quality of construction, but in excellent condition.
Okay.
So I think that was misstated once. I just want to make
Okay.
sure that we're, so,
Average grade.
average grade, excellent condition. So we believe it is well-maintained, but of average quality.
Right.
Okay. Do you have a question?
Do not.
Okay,
The pictures are here if anybody wants to.
yeah. Y'all seen these?
I've seen them.
Okay.
I passed it, seen it earlier.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, anybody else have any additional thoughts? Or?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to be the one that says everything that she wrote on this thing, I really deeply am sorry for, but that doesn't affect what the value of the property is. Now, the pictures, this is just my opinion, the pictures on the mobile home, it was like 1999 mobile home, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And the county has lowered that value down to 96,800. Okay? I think that's probably reasonable enough since it is average and fair or whatever, instead of excellent being explained by the county. So I'm just
Yeah.
pitching mine.
Keep in mind, unlike the other one that we heard, this includes the real estate. This includes the dirt.
Yes.
So this is the dirt in the home.
This
Yeah,
is not.
it's not
This is
personal
This
property.
is a land.
dirt.
Right, and if you need clarification on the value of the land, it'll be on,
Yes, it's
Yeah.
in the soil.
It's all one.
yeah. Yeah. So
It's
this,
very reasonable.
so, okay. So, what's the pleasure of the board?
So you're looking at it that the county has already moved in a favorable direction.
Yes, I think they did at the beginning.
Because that's a big number between what the county has and what the taxpayer has.
Yes.
That's a pretty big number.
But she did not provide, I'm gonna say like an appraiser, appraisal or whatever for it. She really didn't get any detail of comps on other properties, just how bad her situation is.
So basically, she's probably assessing herself what she believes the property is worth, and nothing official. Okay. All right, Mr. Chairman, I'm good.
All right,
So do I have a motion?
we got a motion? I'll make the motion to accept the county's new value of $96,800.
So we
I'll
have a
second.
motion, second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried for the value to remain at 96,800. And moving to tab 2, which is Ms. Brooks.
Yes, and
I was talking to her while the appraisal was being passed around, trying to remember if the county had, I think that was the first time they'd seen the appraisal. Was the date,
That's correct. Yes, that's the
was
first
the
time
date
I've seen it,
correct on the
yes.
appraisal? Okay,
Well, now is the first time we saw it.
Right.
There needs to be we don't know what the effective date on the appraisal is. Does it have an effective date on it?
that's what I wanted to look at. I didn't, yeah,
it says 6/11/24.
that might have been the day it was
The date
prepared.
of the value of the.
Oh, yeah, did,
It'll be-
are the
Was-
comps, did y'all look at the comps to see if they're,
Well, there's you can look at the comps, but also there should be an effective date of the appraisal on one of the pages.
12/31/2020.
It is on there. They asked, when the
Yeah.
appraiser talked to your department, and,
This here, we got, ma'am, we got,
okay. Okay.
yeah, it's as of 12/31/2020.
Yes, thank you, sir.
I don't know if this is a proper way to do it. Could we not decide on this one at the present time and let the county maybe review this
I think
information?
that's an excellent decision, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I mean, the
We
county
can
hadn't
table
had a
it.
chance to review it, and maybe in lieu of tabling it and coming back, would it be okay to let the county review this while we roll through the other cases?
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
That's your
Yeah,
call.
let's do that. I would feel more comfortable. I mean, the date's good, but I would like for the county to, I think they could look at the comps and that kind of thing in 10 minutes and know if we're good.
Would that be sufficient for you all?
Yeah. So,
We need to get a copy back to staff.
okay. I mean, I think it'd be just a waste of time to table it and all that stuff and come back and forth.
See if he can do it.
Yeah. So y'all help me remember, we'll come back to hearing tab 2.
So we're coming back to 2.
Yeah, now, the way I understand it, no action's needed on behalf of the board for tab 3, Twin Lake Farms LLC.
That's right.
And 4, kind of have to deal with these individually to a degree. On tab 4, that's the brownfield piece here.
And the-
I think we got it clarified, though, when, because I think members of the board were having questions about the new value being less than the taxpayer's opinion of value. But when you have to go back to 1/1 of '21,
And that's correct.
that
isn't it?
clicked there. So really, it's to the board, if I remember correctly, to approve the new value at $46,149,200.
Yes, sir.
That should be where it lands.
Yeah, and I think going back, I think we got that clarified, you know, after we understood going back to 1/1 of '21 why that value was there, so.
Yep.
Any further discussion on that item?
No, just, there was something about the 50, that the taxpayers, assessed that, that's because they didn't have
I think it was-
exemptions or something?
No, it was what they
I think
paid
that's
for.
when they paid for it.
That was their
That's
They
what
just
they paid
called
for.
it this- Yeah.
Okay,
But see, that'll be taken care
Care
of
of
next
next
year,
year.
because that might be the comp that they use for this following reevaluation.
thanks for that clarification. I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so with that, do I have a motion to approve the value of $46,149,200?
Yes.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like
Aye.
sign. Okay. Motion's carried. And now we have the various parcels on hearing tab 5, which I think that's fairly straightforward. On 5, that there's an acreage difference there, but nothing can really be done until the plat's recorded.
For all those parcels.
Right.
Yep.
Plat was prepared in '23, we just got to be recorded before it can be adjusted. So,
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Discussion on that, clarification of any kind? Okay. So with that, do I have a motion that the values remain?
You do.
We got a motion, second,
That's for all these,
on
one, two,
tab
three,
All in
five.
5, right?
Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 parcels.
Well, it's 8, isn't it?
All right.
It's everything under tab 5. 1,
Correct.
2, 3, 4, 5,
Yep.
6, 7, 8 parcels. Okay.
Yep. 8 parcels.
So I have a motion, second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, so motion's carried. And move to tab 6. It will be farm, yeah, this is Longview Golf Course Club. And the property changed hands, but it was after 1/1 of '21. There was no deed that they could reference. And there was intangibles there, and that's not something that the county values as far as the intangible piece.
It didn't move, it's not changed.
Yep, no change.
Yeah.
Make a
So-
motion, we accept the county's value.
Okay.
I make a motion, we accept the
Okay, got a motion, second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried for the value to remain at $10,959,800. Takes us to tab 7, which this is personal property, which is mobile home only, no land.
Right.
And she qualifies for the elderly exemption, trying to remember if she's already been approved, and
Just recently approved that.
is this the one that was, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was all, that will apply for next year, or,
Yes, it will apply for 25.
25.
It'll apply for this year. It'll apply for this year.
so it will apply for this year,
She'll be
great,
taxed, she'll be actually taxed on half of that 27,000.
Mm-hmm.
great, great, okay.
5,000, whichever greater rate. Oh, yeah, so she'll get the whole thing. She will be almost completely exempt on that.
Okay.
Great.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we accept the value on the hearing
Okay.
number 7.
Okay. So I have a motion, got a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those,
I'm sorry,
No,
we're working.
The
we're busy.
discussion I may have is what is the discussion they having?
Do I need to
Okay, so
start?
they good, I'm good. All right.
Opposed, like sign. Didn't know if I was going to have to start over or not. Okay. All right. Move to tab 8. That's Alstrom's Tree Service, Keith Alstrom, and this is on the late list penalty. Where I
Mr.
think,
Chairman,
yeah,
if y'all don't mind, I'll make a motion, we exclude the late listing penalty of $1,532.
I'll second that.
motion. I got a, yep, and any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, motion's carried to waive the late list penalty of $1532.07. Okay. Tab 9, which is lifespan services. This one's confusing. You know.
Yeah, but
I
new guy.
thought she unconfused
Well,
it.
she unconfused him, but I can imagine it's confusing for the taxpayer.
Oh,
You know, so, we're just a lot to keep up with, I mean, so. I think in the day-to-day, it's a lot to remember.
That makes sense. Can I make a motion on that
Yeah.
too, to accept this new application, not timely, but to accept it?
Right, okay, so I have a motion.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, so motion's carried to accept the application. And tab 10, I think is,
Done.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
Another timely elderly
exclusion that wasn't filed on time, so I have a motion from Bob.
Yep.
Second from
Second,
Mark.
please.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, so motion's carried to accept. So now we go back to,
number 2, Mr. Chairman.
if the county had proper time to review the appraisal for Mrs. Brooks on tab 2.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We've taken a few minutes to take a look at this thing. They've lowered, or the appraiser, I believe is Margaret Desio, she has lowered the value, or her appraisal amount has come in, at $950,000. We're at 1.332,600. We had allowed $200,000 adjustment for the condition, the deferred maintenance of the home. And I found the page where property condition is noted on the appraisal that Ms. Desio had submitted, and she's made some dollar amount. She's attributed dollar amounts to different items that need to be repaired in the home. And I've tallied them up to $122,000. But there's a disclaimer, there's another sentence after that that says the repairs for this dwelling are so extensive that all could not be included within this appraisal report. So as I look at her comparables, the sales that she made her adjustments to, under condition, she's made an adjustment on comparable number 1 of negative $475,000 and some change. On the second comparable, a negative $327,000 and some change. And on the third one, $531,000 and some change. So she's up there, we're at the $200,000 mark, and she's up there around the close to $500,000, $400,000. So I'm taking it that she didn't have, she's making a judgment call, we're making a judgment call, it's going to be a judgment call for y'all. She's at 950, and we're at 13326. So unfortunately, I think that's something y'all going to have to decide on, based on the photos y'all have seen.
Okay, can I ask you a question? You said, I have 1.35 million. Okay, what do you have now for the?
Yeah, our value is 1,332,600.
Oh. So what made it three?
Oh, okay. Excuse me, I'm looking at,
Are we doing
excuse me,
two?
I didn't have, there was some more data there that I just grabbed I was looking at the sales market analysis that we performed. That's what it came at. It's very close to our value, which is 1,345,800.
That's what I had written.
That is correct.
See
Forgive
some
me.
of this, right? Y'all see all this right here? There's a bunch of.
Do you have a copy of the appraisal? Would you like to see it?
No, I've already looked at it.
I just
Okay.
kind of glanced at it. I mean, I'm very familiar with the firm, and the
Okay.
date looked correct. I just thought it would be good to have y'all
Have y'all
look at
been
it.
inside to look?
Again, no, we did not get inside the home. They visited the outside, but she has submitted so many photos, which Dutch is looking at now, that we didn't feel the need to actually enter the home. There's extensive photos of the property. And we were really hoping that the taxpayer would be able to get some contractors out there to get some estimates of cost to cure.
Yeah.
That just didn't
Well,
come.
why are we rushing so much? That's what I don't understand.
No, we don't have to. I mean, we can still.
I want to table it and
Yeah.
have them really, instead of 10 minutes sitting back there and trying to come up with the comps and figuring it out. And maybe, somebody from the county ought to go into the house and look and make a judgment. And maybe the appellant will get some cost to repair, before we just pick a
Yeah.
number out of the air.
I like knowing to me,
I saw the
anytime we
picture.
come with an appraisal.
Yep.
That's dated
Yeah.
correctly. And the
She's
top-
done what we asked her to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's about
Yes.
as good as the taxpayer can do to me. And, but like, agree with Mark, I mean, there's a lot of information
I
here,
know.
And, it would maybe help on the county side to have them go out there.
Okay.
We're looking at-
Let me ask one question. I mean, how does that work? I mean, we would table it, the county would go back out and look at it, and we would have another meeting, or,
Yeah, I guess, I mean, to be perfectly honest, my biggest concern at this point in time is that our next meeting isn't until October 12th.
Give them a lot of time.
It would give
To
them a
get all
lot of
those
time,
costs and all
but at the point we're at right now, and I mean, this is for whatever it's worth, is that if we table it, then we're billing it at what it is right now. So then we would come back potentially in the fall.
Numbers, average them out, or however you want to do that, you may get roughly to the same point. So I think you probably have the data, but again, if the board wants staff to go out there,
Well,
we can.
Yeah, may I add something?
and I have a question after he said that,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
I don't know that, well, my concern is we'll be right back here in October to the same point, because going out there, I don't know how much more that's going to reveal. After speaking with the taxpayer, Latasha spoke with her at length. We've got, I mean, there's tons of photos. So I don't know that it's going to reveal any greater awareness of what's going on with the property and help us to come up with another value, other than getting some cost to cure on the whole property. You get a contractor out there, and that's going to be up to the taxpayer, not us. So she's already got the appraisal. I'm afraid we're going to end up right back here in October at the same
yeah, see,
point.
I'd hang my hat on the appraisal and just lower it to 950, just knowing, I know the
It's gonna be
company,
changed
that did
this
the work
next year.
and very reputable, and instead of trying to get somewhere in between, you hang your hat on a number that we're actually looking at,
Since she spent more time.
Well, we got,
The appraiser spent
Yeah.
more time on it. I guess she was out there looking at everything.
well, we
right?
got tons of pictures,
My question is, Mr. Chairman, I think staff has already answered my question, would it be feasible, and you believe it would not?
I don't know that it would reveal any greater, anything that would help us to come up with a new value. Based on, I think we have sufficient information at this time.
So are you willing to say for the county, y'all accept the 950? In other words, that's pretty much what we're talking about here.
Well, I'm saying the county stance is that we don't have enough data to ascertain exactly how much the cost of cure is. So I don't know what the appraiser went on that submitted this appraisal. I know that I tallied their numbers up, it was 122,000, but then they made a statement that it was too great to put on this report.
Well, because, I mean, the difference between what you all have come up with and the appraiser, that difference is, if my math is right, and thank God for these calculators, is 395.8.
Correct. That sounds right.
And so, you know, just as if you just reviewed it, and would you be able to ascertain a differential number between what you have and the 950?
I wouldn't feel comfortable, sir, just throwing a number out there. I would love to, you know, as an appraiser, I'd like to have the data. I'd like to have some numbers, have contractors go out, take a look at the property. But again, that's going to have to be the owner of the property. That's going to have to be, you know, something that they perform and provide for us, so that we can then take that data and apply it to our numbers and extract that depreciation amount for the condition. Ms. Desio, she did some of that. She had some numbers, and then she put a statement. So, you know, that it was, there's a lot of stuff going on with that home, as you've seen with those photos.
Well, basically then, Mr. Chairman, there's just a mini conundrum, and that being that you were believing that there may have been sufficient data in the documents. Staff believes there's sufficient information in the documents, but if we can't come up with a number from that, then we probably have to go out there and you all assess again. They can't come up with a number.
I think it's one of those things, though, with as much repair work that's got to be done to that property, if you send 3 different firms out there, I think all 3 of them could be $100,000 apart. I mean,
Right.
each one.
Or even an appraiser.
Yeah.
Well,
You can send an appraiser out there, and have,
and that's my point
There's
is,
no way to get.
this stuff.
it's going to be a judgment call.
Yeah.
And we judged $200,000. She did greater. So I think if y'all can make a decision.
That's kind
All
of,
right, so we would have to come up with a number.
that's kind of where I get
That's what
back.
it basically is.
You hang your
Okay.
hat, you hang your hat on the
Well.
number you got in front of you.
All right, Mr. Chairman, that's our game. That's
Question.
why we here.
Yeah. Now, we can do something different. I mean, you know, it's a board
We
decision.
don't have to do exactly what the appraiser said.
No.
We-
I'm
and we
saying
have to
a
count.
number,
It's
Yeah.
just
because
somewhere
we're
in
dealing with
between.
395.8.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Quick question for us. We're familiar with the firm that did the quality of that's not that's perfect.
Right.
Good. Look at that.
Reputable company that's been in business for a long time.
What can we discuss? I mean, tabling, I think going out and looking at this thing is probably going to be a.
Yeah.
Well, I was
I
trying
think
to
right
see if
now, I
the
think right now,
council
we're
come
coming
up
to,
with
we're gonna get to a number.
That's, I think we're going in the same direction.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Let's do it. Let's make a decision.
Ma'am,
I can go
we're in
somewhere in
deliberations.
between. But listen, I can go somewhere in between 3, and a billion.
Yep.
But to just have one appraiser doing that and looking at stuff. Well, how did Margaret Desio do it? She's an appraiser. She went out there and looked at it and made decisions, wrote up something. How can she do it? I mean, obviously she did.
Well, and I hate to speak and for the taxpayer, but from what I understand, I think that she was trying to get some contractors out to get numbers for Ms. Desio. Desio, from what I understand, had asked her to get her some numbers so she could use them. And if you'd like to ask the.
No,
I think I got her nod there.
Okay.
I understand that.
All right. Are we gonna get a motion out of it, or what? Obviously,
Yeah,
that's
we-
what we're supposed to do
We're
now.
looking to get a number here between,
Mr. Chairman, just looking at it from the perspective and trying to be fair to all parties, I make a motion of 1,045,800.
1,045, yeah, 1,045.
That's about 95 over the,
That's exactly what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
okay.
that's what I'm saying.
That's,
Okay.
we keep at that.
I guess all we need now is a second, huh?
We have a motion to take the value to 1,045,800. And do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried to reduce the value to 1,045,800.
And that'll be just for this year, right? And then,
Correct.
y'all got a new number coming that way. Now, let me ask you this, on this parcel that we just dealt with, for example, all that work that needs to be done, and y'all gonna give it a reappraised value, right? Or you probably already got it.
No, the value's not finalized.
Okay,
Every property in the county will receive a new value in 2025, yes.
okay. All right,
And she'll get that number in September, October,
No, she'll know the number,
March,
early March.
okay.
early March of next year. Okay.
25.
25,
The reappraisal
okay.
was effective 1/1/25.
Right, okay.
Okay.
All right. Any other information that needs to come before us?
Should work.
Thank you, sir.
With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sign.
All
We are
right,
adjourned.
job well done, fellas.
Okay.